just ran a really big pre-order for my latest book, and I ordered all of the paperbacks that I offered for pre-order from Barnes & Noble Nook Press. And in this video, I'm gonna talk to you about how much they cost, how long they took to ship, and what the quality was like of all of them, like how many came damaged, and whether or not I was able to get refunds. Just basically give my entire review. And then I'm also gonna show you the book and walk you through exactly what the quality was like. And yeah, let's just dive right into it. So I ordered 250 of these paperbacks, these special edition paperbacks of my book, The Love Trials, and I paid $2,667.50 for all of the books. I paid $25 in handling, $130 in shipping, for a total of $2,822.50 for 250 books, which comes out to $11.29 per book. I placed this order on March 25th of 2026. These books were all delivered starting on April 9th, 2026, but all of the boxes arrived by April 13th of 2026. So between like 2 to 3 weeks to print and ship and deliver. They did arrive on time. Like, they said that they would be here on April 9th, and most of them did arrive by April 9th. All of the, like, there were a couple straggling boxes that arrived by the 13th, but like most of the shipment was there by April 9th. I was a little nervous because by April 6th, they still hadn't shipped, and they actually did ship like at the end of the day on April 6th. Somehow they were still arriving on the 9th, so that was really good. I was happy with that. And they took just about the amount of time that I expected them to take from like printing and shipping. Like, it was exactly what I had budgeted for in my chart and my plan. So all of that was great. I had ordered a proof copy, and my proof was absolutely stunning. It was gorgeous. The like forced edges were so crisp and so pretty. Like, I was so happy with this proof. So I was expecting like the quality of the books to be pretty good because I'd gotten the proof and it was perfect in the proof. And then the boxes arrived. I started unpacking the boxes, and the boxes were atrociously packaged. Like, they would come in these, like, I don't know, like 2x2 boxes or something, and there would be 2 stacks of books inside the boxes, and in the rest of the free space, there'd be like this much free space on like either side of these stacks within the box, and on either side, there was just like a tiny bit of paper shoved in there. Sometimes it was literally like one sheet of paper that was folded in half and just put next to there, like put next to the edges of the books, and the books were like banging around inside the box as they were coming to me. Additionally, they did a really bad job with the edge printing, and I was super disappointed because on my proof copy it was so beautiful, but then when I actually got the like big shipment, all of the edges came a little fuzzy. I mean, this is me being really picky, but I'm really picky with these books. You can see they like look a tiny bit fuzzy, like they're not 100% crisp. They like look like the edges of these hearts are just a tiny bit blurry. Maybe it's easier to see when you compare it to like the crispness of the hardcover. Like, this one's really crisp and this one's a little fuzzy. This absolutely was not the end of the world, but I was a little bummed because my proof copy had been so crisp. But more importantly, there were like really big issues like on the bottom or on the sides or something where like when they were cutting the book, they cut these pages like too close to here. And so it was just cream. So it was just white, and there would be big patches of white on the different parts of the book. And so those weren't sellable. I had like advertised these as forced edges, and I didn't want to give my readers a crappy product at all. So any ones that had like the bad forced edges, I couldn't sell. And that was a risk that I assumed. I knew that that was a possibility because none of these printers guarantee perfect forced edges because it's a really new thing that indie authors have started doing, but I was still hoping that they would do a slightly better job than this. So my final count was that there were 23 severely damaged books from shipping and 21 with misprinted forced edges. So this meant that only 206 out of 250 were sellable at my original price. So I sold out of paperbacks pretty early on in the pre-order. I mean, not really early on, but I sold out before I wanted to. I was hoping I'd have more stock because I was selling the most paperbacks. Like, obviously, like, I understand why. Like, they were significantly cheaper than the hardcovers. The hardcovers cost a lot more to print and they were more special editions, and the paperbacks were a little bit cheaper, like they were significantly cheaper for me to print, and so I could sell them a lot lower. But I was selling those a lot faster because obviously they're cheaper, and I was bummed that I ran out so quickly. So yeah, only 206 out of the 250 were sellable at my original price, and that was a bummer. So I was pretty dark at Barnes & Noble after that for a little while, and I'd asked them for a refund and they were like, we don't do refunds, we'll only do replacement copies. I wasn't super happy with the original shipment, so I didn't want them to send more books in another box with no packing in it, and then have more come damaged, and then just have more damaged books that I can't sell. But it was still better than nothing. So they asked me to send them pictures of all the damaged books. I sent them pictures, but the process was harder than it was with Book Vault. They wanted 4 pictures per book. So they wanted like 1 picture of the front of the book, 1 picture of the back of the book, 1 picture of like the back page with the barcode on it, like showing the batch number, and then 1 picture of the damage. And so I created a PDF with like pictures of these 23 damaged copies, like pictures of the front and the back and the damage, and that took me about an hour and a half to take all those pictures, and then a little bit longer to try to figure out how to put them in a PDF compressed enough to be able to email it to the people, because if I uploaded it to my email, it was too big of a file. It wanted to send it as a Google Drive link, but then they couldn't open it if it was a Google Drive link, so I had to figure out how to compress the file, but I figured all of that out and I sent it to them. And I didn't hear anything, so I was starting to get a little bit salty, but then I think about 2 weeks later, the replacement copies just showed up. They didn't fight me on any of them. They didn't come back and say like, oh, this one's not damaged enough for you to get a refund. I requested 26 replacement copies and they just sent me 26 replacements. So that was awesome. And that was really, really nice. I was very happy about that. And that was about the time that I was opening my TikTok shop, and I was able to sell all of the copies that I got, like the replacement copies. I did a restock and a big exciting like paperbacks are back in stock, because a lot of people were wanting them because they'd sold out. So those sold out really quickly in like one day. And then I put all the replacement copies up as well, and those also sold out in like 1 or 2 days. So I cleaned house of paperbacks really, really fast. This is all on TikTok shop. This was right when I was opening my TikTok shop, and I was amazed by how quickly that those sold. I just made videos explaining like, you know, I had a pretty disappointing print run. These came damaged. These are the issues, but the interior of the book is fine and everything else is fine. And I got a ton of people who wanted to take them. And because I'd gotten the replacement copies, my sunk cost into the book wasn't as steep. And so I made more money on those, which was stellar. So all in all, I had a really good experience with Barnes & Noble Press. I'd been using them for a while before and had always had a good experience before then, but this like was another good experience. And the quality of these books is unbelievably awesome. Like the cover is matte and it feels really soft and really nice. It's a really floppy paperback, which I know is not important to everybody, but it's always important to me. And these are big books. Like this book is 610 pages and it's 6 by 9 inches and it's still like really floppy and really soft. All of the inside printed really nice. All of the text is really clear and really crisp. And I will say that the replacement copy, like the edges on the replacement copies were so crisp and nice. Like I think it was just maybe a disappointing batch, but it's not really reliable. Like I would feel a little bit like I'm gambling if I did another forced edge printing with Barnes & Noble, but maybe not. It just feels risky because it came out really nice in the replacements and in the proof copy. It didn't come out so nice in the really big batch, so I don't know. But then again, I was still able to sell all of them, so it isn't really that much of a risk. Here's like the back cover and the spine and the front cover. Like you can't really see all of the tiny details of this book, but like it's really beautiful. They did a really nice job. So would I order from Barnes & Noble again? I would say absolutely yes. I just have to make sure I account for possibly having a lot of shipping damage. The shipping really irks me because if you print a nice book, like I'm sure that most of these books were fine when they left the place, but if you just put them loose in a cardboard box and jostle that cardboard box around, of course the books are gonna arrive damaged. Like that's a really avoidable thing. And so I would really love it if they could package their books better so that that is avoided. But all in all, it went pretty good. I guess 206 out of 250 is not ideal, but the ultimate experience was pretty good. And I didn't have any issues. I was able to fulfill all of my pre-orders and I capped my orders in time so that they didn't go over that limit. Like I only sold 206 at pre-order and then I sold those like the other 44 or whatever after the pre-order was over. I mean less than that because I also like, I had some that were extremely damaged that I couldn't sell, but only like 1 or 2. And then I kept one for myself and like I kept one for my archives because I keep one of every single book that I've ever printed just for like my records. So I always like can go back and look at every type of book that I've printed, but I sold most of them anyway. So yes, I do recommend Barnes & Noble if you're looking for a printer. They do really high quality stuff and they take accountability. So they don't give you refunds, but they will send you replacement copies if they come damaged from the shipping. Yeah, as I said, just be ideal if we didn't have to deal with shipping damage at all, but c'est la vie. But I hope you enjoyed that video. If you did, I would super appreciate it if you could give it a like and subscribe to my channel. My name is Claire Fraze, and I'm an award-winning author who makes weekly videos sharing actionable writing tips that helped me make my own writing better. I'm the author of The Love Trials, which is the book that I've been sharing and talking about in this video. It's a book about ghost hunters who hunt the ghosts of serial killers, and it features a serial killer that makes lovers play games like in Saw, but accidentally takes a pair of enemies instead, so it's like dark romance enemies to lovers too. I hope you have a good week, everybody, and as always, happy writing.